1st of August 1899, Volume 2, About Purity. This morning, my most gentle Jesus, carrying me outside of myself, made me see the corruption into which mankind has decayed. It is horrifying to think about it. While I was in the midst of these people, almost crying, Jesus was saying, "Oh man, how you have disfigured, deformed, disennobled yourself. Oh man, I made you so that you might be my living temple, but you have made of yourself the dwelling of the devil. Look, even the plants, by being covered with leaves, flowers, and fruits, teach you honesty and modesty you must have with your body. But you, having lost any modesty, and even the natural reserve you should have become worse than the animals. So much so that I have nothing else to which to compare you. You were my image, but now I no longer recognize you. Even more, I am so horrified at your impurities that the mere sight of you nauseates me, and you yourself force me to flee from you." While Jesus was saying this, I felt tortured with the pain of seeing my beloved Jesus so embittered. So I said to him, "Lord, you are right that you find nothing good in man anymore, and that he has reached such blindness as to no longer be able even to keep the laws of nature. So if you want to look at man, you will do nothing but send chastisements. Therefore I pray you to keep your gaze on your mercy, and in this way everything will be remedied." As I was saying this, Jesus told me, "Daughter, give me a refreshment for my pains." In the act of saying this, he removed the crown of thorns, which seemed to be sunken into his adorable head, and he drove it into mine. I felt most bitter pains, but I was content that Jesus was being refreshed. After this, he told me, "Daughter, I greatly love pure souls, and just as I am forced to flee from the impure, I am drawn by the pure, as by a magnet to dwell with them. To pure souls I gladly lend my mouth to let them speak with my own tongue. Therefore they have to make no effort to convert souls. With these souls, I delight not only in continuing my passion within them and so continuing redemption, but what is more, I greatly delight in glorifying my own virtues in them." End of the reading.
2nd of August, 1899, Volume 2, Correspondence to Jesus. This morning my adorable Jesus made himself seen, all afflicted and almost angry with men, threatening to send the usual chastisements and to make people die suddenly under lightnings, hail, and fire. I prayed him very much to placate himself, and Jesus told me, "The iniquities that rise from the earth to heaven are so many that if prayer and souls who are victims before me were missing for a quarter of an hour, I would make fire come out of the earth and inundate the people." Then he added, "See how many graces I was supposed to pour over the creatures, but since I find no correspondence, I am forced to hold them back within myself. Even more, they make me change them into chastisement. Be careful, you, O my daughter, to correspond to me in the so many graces I am pouring into you, because correspondence is the open door to let me enter into the heart and form my residence in it. Correspondence is like that good welcome, that esteem, which is used with people when they come to visit us, in such a way that, drawn by that respect, by those affable manners used with them, they are forced to come again and reach the point of not being able to detach themselves. Everything is in corresponding to me, and according to how souls correspond to me and treat me on earth, so will I behave with them in heaven. Making them find the doors open, I will invite the whole celestial court to welcome them, and I will place them on the most sublime throne. But it will be all the opposite for those who do not correspond to me. End of the reading.
The 1st of August, 1918, Volume 12, Effects of the Deprivation of Jesus. I go on in the midst of deprivations and anxieties, and I often lament to my sweet Jesus. And he came, and drawing close to me, clasped me to his heart and told me, "Drink from my side." I drank the most holy blood which poured from the wound of his heart. How happy I was. But Jesus, not content with letting me drink the first time, told me to drink a second time and then a third. I remained amazed at his goodness, that without my asking, he himself wanted me to drink. Then he added, "My daughter, every time you remember that you are deprived of me and you suffer, your heart is wounded with a divine wound, which being divine, has the virtue of being reflected in my heart and wounding it. This wound is sweet, it is balm to my heart, and I use it to soothe my cruel wounds which creatures give me, the wounds of their indifference, of their scorn toward me, reaching the point of forgetting about me. So if the soul feels cold, dry, distracted, and she suffers about it because of me, she remains wounded, and she wounds me, and I feel cheered." End of the reading. The 1st of August, 1923, Volume 16. By virtue of the divine will, the whole creation brings to us the "I love you" of Jesus, and in his will we must give him our own. I was feeling very afflicted today because my son, Jesus, did not rise on my poor soul. Oh, what pain it is to spend one day without sun, always night. Now, as I was feeling pierced through my soul, I had the good of looking at the starry heaven, and I said to myself, "How is it that my sweet Jesus no longer remembers anything about me? I don't know how the goodness of his heart can tolerate not making the sun of his adorable presence rise, when he told me that he could not be without coming to his little daughter, because little ones cannot be too long without their father. So many are their needs that the father is forced to stay with them, to watch them, guard them, and nourish them. Does he not remember when carrying me outside of myself, leading me up there, beneath the vault of the heavens, in the midst of the celestial spheres, walking together with him, I impress my "I love you" in every star, in every sphere. I seem to see it in every star, my "I love you." It seems to me that those glitterings of light that form around the stars resound among themselves with my "I love you, Jesus." Yet he does not listen to it. He does not come. He does not let his sun rise, which, eclipsing all the stars with my "I love you," may make of them one with his own. And so, rising again in the midst of the celestial spheres, I impress a new "I love you, Jesus." Oh, please, stars, cry out loudly, make my "I love you" resound, so that Jesus may be touched and come to his little daughter, to the little exiled. Oh, Jesus, come, give me your hand. Let me enter into your holy will, that I may fill the whole atmosphere, the blue heaven, the light of the sun, the air, the sea, everything with my "I love you," with my kisses, so that everywhere you may be, if you look, you may look at my "I love you" and at my kisses. If you hear, you may hear my "I love you" and the smacking of my kisses. If you speak and breathe, you may breathe my "I love you" and my anguishing kisses. If you work, may my I love yous flow in your hands. If you walk and tread the ground, may my I love you and the roaring of my kisses be under your steps. May my I love you be the chain that draws you to me, and may my kisses be the powerful magnet that, whether you want it or not, force you to visit the one who cannot live without you, but who can say all my nonsense. Now, while I was thinking of this, my adorable Jesus came, all goodness, and showing me his opened heart, told me, "My daughter, place your head upon my heart and rest, for you are very tired. Then we will wander around together in order to show you my I love yous, spread over the whole of creation for you." So I hugged him, placing my head on his heart to rest, as I felt extreme need of it. After a while, as I was outside of myself, but always clinging to his heart, he added, "My daughter, I want you, who are the firstborn daughter of my supreme will, to know how the whole creation, on the wings of my eternal volition, brings my I love you to the creatures. And the creatures, on the same wings of my will, making it their own, shall give me their I love you in return. Look at the blue heaven. There is not one point in it without the seal of my I love you for the creature. Every star and the glittering that forms its crown is studded with my I love yous. Each ray of the sun stretching toward the earth to bring light, and every drop of light carry my I love you. And since the light invades the earth and man sees it and walks over it, my I love you reaches him in his eyes, in his mouth, in his hands, and lays itself under his feet. The murmuring of the sea murmurs, I love you, I love you, I love you. And the drops of water are as many keys that, murmuring among themselves, form the most beautiful harmonies of my infinite I love you. The plants, the leaves, the flowers, the fruits have my I love you impressed in them. The whole of creation brings to man my repeated I love yous. And man, how many of my I love yous does he not have impressed in his whole being? His thoughts are sealed by my I love you. The beating of his heart that beats in his chest with that mysterious tick, tick, tick is my I love you, never interrupted, that says to him, I love you, I love you, I love you. His words are followed by my I love you. His movements, his steps, and all the rest contain my I love you. Yet in the midst of so many ways of love, he is unable to rise to return my love. What ingratitude! How grieved does my love remain! Therefore, my daughter, I chose you as the daughter of my will, so that, as faithful daughter, you might defend the rights of your father. My love absolutely wants the return of the love of the creature. In my will, you will find all my I love yous, and following them, you will impress your I love you in mine, for you and for all. For how happy I will be in seeing the love of the creature fuse with mine. This is why I give you my will in your power, so that one creature may return to me that love which I gave in creation, defending the rights of my love. End of the reading. The 1st of August 1926, Volume 19. The Secret of Jesus, the power and goodness of his secret. I was longing for my sweet good, the life of my life, and since he was not coming, I thought to myself, how hard is his privation. Jesus does not love me any more, and not only have the caresses, the kisses, his great shows of love which he so abundantly gave me before ended, but his loving and enrapturing presence also keeps me waiting longer and longer. Oh, what pain, what a continuous martyrdom, what a life, without air, without breath. My Jesus, have pity on me, on your little exiled one. But while I was thinking of this and other things, my always lovable Jesus came out from within my interior and leaning his arms on my breast told me, "My daughter, you deceive yourself in saying that I no longer love you as before. On the contrary, you must know that my kisses, my caresses, the shows of love I gave you were the outpouring of my love. Unable to contain it in my interior, I showed it to you with many loving signs. And since between you and me there wasn't a great work to do, I amused myself with you with many signs and stratagems of love. But this served to prepare you for the great work that was to be carried out between you and me. And when one works, there is no time to amuse oneself. However, in spite of this, love does not cease, but is increased 100 times, strengthened and sealed. Now, my daughter, having shown to you the outpouring of my constrained love, I wanted to move on to give you what I contained within me. I wanted to communicate to you the great secret of the kingdom of my will, giving you the goods it contains. And when important secrets are communicated, and this is the most important secret of the whole history of creation, amusements, kisses, and caresses are put aside. More so, since the work of the kingdom of the Supreme Volition is exuberant and the greatest that can exist in the whole history of the world. Therefore, manifesting my secret to you surpasses all loves together, because in the secret there is a sharing of one's life, of one's goods. In the secret there is trust, there is reliance. And do you think it is trivial that your Jesus has trust in you and that you are the object of my hope? But not just any trust and hope, rather the trust of entrusting to you the kingdom of my will, and the hope that you will place its rights in safety and that you will make it known for me. Now, having entrusted to you the secret of my will being the essential part of the divine life, I would not know what to give you that is greater than this. How can you say then that I love you less than before? Rather, you must say that this is the great work required of you and of me in the kingdom of my will. You must know that I am always occupied and all intent on working in you. Now I expand your capacity. Now I instruct you. Many times I move on to work together with you. Other times I make up for you. In some, I am always occupied. And this says that I love you more and more, but with stronger and more substantial love. End of the reading. There are no more readings today.